Good morning, Marshall Reddick investors. This is Kristen Tabar, and I am coming to you live from the future. Just kidding, but I am broadcasting live from Florida, where it is 2:00 p.m. So technically, I am in the future from where you are at lovely 11. Want to thank everybody for joining us today. I am very excited to be presenting on this topic. It is my absolute favorite one of Marshall Reddick's market, and I get to participate with my absolute favorite Marshall Reddick agents. So it's a pleasure to have Terry and Ken Duffy on with me today. We will hear from them a little bit later on in the broadcast, and let's jump right into it. So for those of you who are joining me today for the first time, if this is your first Marshall Reddick event or first Marshall Reddick webinar, we are a full service real estate brokerage. We also offer property management to our investors, not only in California, but across the nation as well. And we also offer private money lending for not only our clients who are looking to borrow in order to acquire rental property, but we also offer our investors the opportunity to be the bank and invest in mortgages and trust deeds if they would like to continue to invest in real estate, but give themselves a little bit of diversity within that realm. So today we're going to focus mostly on the brokerage. We'll talk a little bit about management as well. And we're going to talk about how Marshall Reddick helps our clients all over the nation to purchase rental properties in many different markets today, though, specifically the beautiful Southwest Florida area of Cape Coral, Fort Myers, and Lehigh Acres. As I mentioned, my name is Kristen Tabar. I have been with Marshall Reddick Real Estate going on 6 years this year. Very exciting to be able to work with my clients in the capacity to help them buy rental real estate. I was an investor before I started working with the company, and my husband and I own 14 units across the nation, including several in Cape Coral. And to date, I've worked on 330 Marshall Reddick transactions and counting. So really exciting for me to be able to practice what I preach in all areas of this business. And I'm looking forward to connecting with each and every one of you guys who are in attendance today to learn more about what you're looking for and see how I can help. So a little bit about me while we're on the subject. As I mentioned, we are in sunny Florida right now. As you can see in front of you, my children and I decided to hold some gators not too long ago. It's about the size of my daughter's. There she is in the bottom right-hand corner. So that was really fun, really exciting to get out here and spend a little bit of time in this area. Here's a little bit more business related photos, if you will. Top left is some of the ladies in the Marshall Reddick office down in Florida. Top right, you see Mr. and Mrs. Duffy themselves out with my husband and I. And of course, right in the middle is our most recent construction project. My husband and I are standing in front of the property that's soonest to be completed down there in the Cape Coral area. So a lot of exciting stuff going on down here. We're going to hear, as I mentioned, more from Ken and Terry as we go through the presentation, not just in the residential realm, but in the commercial realm of real estate and development as well. The area is just booming, and it's a really great time to invest. So I mentioned being an advisor with Marshall Reddick Real Estate. I've been with the company for 6 years now. For those of you joining us for the first time, you may be thinking, well, what does that mean to me? And why is it important that she's telling me who she is? Well, as an advisor, I work with my clients to help understand what your goals are for real estate investing and help put together a roadmap so that we can get from the goal to the accomplishment and continue to help grow that portfolio. So there's a lot of things that go into that. It's the who, what, where, when, why, and how of your real estate plan. And we'll talk about what you're looking for, put a plan in motion, connect with a lender if you're planning on financing, talk about what kind of property you're looking for, and ultimately get you connected with the agent in that market that will help you make the offer, get you that property, connect with the management team, and make sure that everything operates as sort of a well-oiled machine. So we'll make sure to get that all done in this for this particular presentation, that would be Miss Terry Duffy herself, and she would be the one to help you through all those things that I just mentioned. Why is having a plan important? Because ultimately, when you put together your real estate plan, you have a goal, whether it's replacing an income, whether it's retiring early, whether it's taking a road trip across the nation because California is driving you a little bit crazy right now. You want to have that plan in place, and everybody's goals are different. So it's important to know what your goal is, how are you going to accomplish it, and then put together a roadmap. So this is my and my husband's investment portfolio. We started investing together in 2011, the 2006 Arizona condo we like to call BC, which is before Kristen. And everything since then, we've worked with the Marshall Reddick team. We have the Marshall Reddick preferred managers in our third party markets. And of course, our Cape Coral properties are being managed by Marshall Reddick as well. So for any of those clients out there who have questions or are looking for information, I'm always happy to share my experience. Terry knows everything there is to know about the market as well. We can both help you through what areas, you know, what types of properties, help you answer any management questions you have. And as I mentioned, our last property was in 2020. We're getting ready to complete another build in just a couple months from now. And then we have another one that just got foundation poured. So we're cranking away at our portfolio, and it's because we have a plan and we have something like this set up that we can, that's more tangible than just thinking, oh, I'm going to invest in real estate today. So again, any questions, I'm always happy to share about my experience and help everyone put their own plans together. So here's a quick snapshot of our markets. Today we're going to focus on Fort Myers, Florida, the Cape Coral area, which should also have a green box around it. The green box indicates that it's a Marshall Reddick office in that particular market. Some of our other areas, we do still work with some very reputable third-party teams, but we're happy to be expanding our own name and our own brand into these markets as well. Quick list of how we select our markets. We are constantly evaluating, always researching, collecting data to ensure that the markets that we are in currently are still performing up to the standards that we like to see, and also to keep an eye on the rest of the United States to see, is there another area that's emerging that we want to focus on? Are any of our areas looking like maybe we've tapped out and we'd like to explore some other options? So these are the criteria that we base this on. We've been working with Terry since 2005, and the opportunity in this market just never ceases to exist and never ceases to amaze us. There's always a lot of positive things going on in the Southwest Florida market. A lot of people are moving there. A lot of great things are happening. Again, I'll let Ken and Terry touch on that as we get in. And with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and introduce Terry and Ken Duffy. As I mentioned, we've been working with Terry since 2005. She has helped my husband and I personally build our portfolio in the Cape Coral area. She and I have worked on, I would say, at least a third of the 330 transactions I've done to date have been with Terry. And it is my absolute pleasure to introduce Mr. and Mrs. Ken and Terry Duffy.
Well, hello, everybody.
Hey, guys and gals. I've actually been with the Marshall Reddick Group since 2004. So Kristen's cheating us a year.
That's okay. We'll take it. We'll take it. We'll give you the mulligan, Kristen. So, everybody, welcome to another crazy webinar we've got going on down South Florida. The market here is doing extremely well. We just want to take the opportunity to thank all you guys for getting on and listening to what's going on down here in South Florida. The market's doing very, very well. Despite, you know, the country's kind of in a crazy time right now. Currently, Florida's with relation to COVID, we're hammering out the vaccines, and we are currently in stage 3. So for those of you guys that are in the California area or all other parts of the country, it's kind of business as usual down here. Everybody's got to wear the mask in the restaurants. Restaurants are fully open. There isn't anything that isn't closed. So I'm sorry, that isn't open. Yeah. Everything's operating as normal. So the real estate is really, really thriving down here. We've got a lot of people moving from the northern states coming into South Florida. particularly out of the New Jersey tri-state area, Michigan, and Ohio. The kind of the draw down to South Florida is that we're kind of like just operating as normal. So real estate's really cranking up. People are moving their assets, moving their money down here, and that's just driving jobs and jobs and jobs into South Florida on top of the market that we've already had, which has been always very strong, very consistent. Even through the COVID, it was shut down for a while when it first came about. We had about 6 months where everything just kind of just locked up totally. So our wages had an increase last year of 3.1%, which was very good. So we're doing really well. The big news down here is that Marshall Reddick took over the Cape Coral office and the South Florida region in January 1st of 2020. So we used to be with Weichert, a local realtor. Now everything is in-house. So we have basically, it's a one-stop shop, and it's really to the advantage of the investor, the renter, you know, anybody that's dealing with Marshall Reddick, because everything is under one, you know, business plan. Everything's working smoother. So things are really doing well. Currently, the Marshall Reddick office in Cape Coral is managing about 577 units. They're adding roughly about 100 units per year. So things are really, really cranking up. Lee County, which encompasses the South Florida area, we are growing by 2,000 residents per month. Percentage of those 2,000 moving in that are renting is 20%. So Terry and I, like we had said before, we've been with Marshall Reddick since 2004. We started with them investing down here back in 2004, then became realtors. I currently am a lieutenant on a fire engine down here. I'm a fireman, been a fireman for 17 years. So I have a really good vast knowledge of what's going on in the area, the types of areas. So anybody has questions about, you know, where to buy, what to buy, neighborhoods, I'm kind of well versed in it. My background is in construction. I did 20 years of elevator construction in New York City. So if you have any questions construction-wise, how the houses are built, I pretty much know everything that goes on with building. We currently just built a brand new house down here, which we just moved into. So if I sound like I'm talking in a garbage can, that's why the house is pretty much just moved into. So we currently we own about 11 properties throughout Fort Myers. So we're obviously in the game and constantly looking for deals. And we're just going to move right through the PowerPoint, and we'll get you going on what's happening down here. Terry's information down at the bottom. If you guys got your phones handy on the computer, just take a snapshot. You can reach her. That's her direct line right to the house. And then obviously you can reach her via her email through the Marshall Reddick website. So let's see, a touch there. Kristen, you did give me, there we go. Bear with me a second, folks. There we go. Okay. So in a snapshot, Lee County, Florida is on the West Coast. We're about 2 hours south of Tampa and about an hour and a half west of Miami. The current MSA area is Fort Myers, Cape Coral, and Lehigh Acres. Florida's current population is right around 22 million. And like I mentioned earlier, 2,000 residents are moving into the Southwest Florida area every single month, which is doing very, very good for rentals. All right, I gotta give it a little delay. So this is kind of an overview of the area. Upper left is Cape Coral. That's the area that is just seeing explosion in growth, construction, commercial, and residential. Duplexes are literally, they're going off the shelf like hotcakes. They can't build enough. Right now, the city of Cape Coral has a demand, roughly the last 2 years, they have to build 1,200 residential units, whether it's duplexes, single families, multifamilies. They've got to roughly add about 1,200 units a year to the actual city to handle the influx of people moving into the area for jobs. So majority of our sales and investment hunting is in the Cape Coral area. It does have a higher price point compared to Lehigh Acres, which you see over on the right-hand side. Lehigh Acres is an inland community. It's not really surrounded by water like Cape Coral, so your values, your price points will be a little higher in Cape Coral. They'll be a little bit lower in Lehigh Acres, where the cash flow is a little bit better. Different type of neighborhood. Terry can get into that if you decide to call and touch base, and we just want to move through the PowerPoint. But it is a higher elevation in Lehigh Acres. It's a bedroom community. Doesn't nearly have the population that Cape Coral does. However, they are just reaching around 100,000 right now, where Cape Coral is cresting over 200,000. And then, of course, we have the city of Fort Myers, which is in the center of the screen. And it is basically split down the middle with the Caloosahatchee River. That river goes from the west coast of Florida, goes all the way over to the east coast of Florida around the Boca Raton area. So it's a boater's paradise, and that's why Cape Coral is such a draw for people moving into the area. And we'll hit a few more slides later. And then we've got the airport going through a major expansion. They're just in the process now of topping off an $80 million control tower so they can add more runways. They're adding more runways because UPS, FedEx, Amazon, which just opened up a massive distribution center here, they need more runways to handle the traffic of airplanes coming in. Typically, they'll land over in Miami or Fort Lauderdale, and then they'll truck all the stuff over to the West Coast. So they're trying to get away from that. And so the airport's going through a massive expansion. They're going to be adding an entire new terminal onto the existing terminal. So that's a lot of good growth in the area. And then below city of Fort Myers, you've got Bonita Springs, Estero in the Bonita Springs area. And then just south of that, you have Naples, which is South Florida is pretty much synonymous for Naples and Sanibel Island off to the left. Sanibel is always rated number in the top 10 beaches throughout the country, so, or actually throughout the world. So it's beautiful, beautiful water down here, and it's basically an outdoorsman area. When you move down here, there's a lot of fishing, boating, kayaking, hiking, a lot of things to do outside. So why do we invest in Southwest Florida? Well, number one, people move down here for the lifestyle. They usually come down in the beginning. They sometimes don't want to buy a house right away. They'll rent. So hence the duplexes work really well. And they can basically rent in one side or buy one, live in one side and rent out the other. The weather is phenomenal down here. We basically have 360 days of sunshine, and taxes. Taxes are very low. We have no state income tax. Landlord-friendly state, so the laws and regulations are in favor of the landlord, which is you, the investor. So evictions are very easy. If you have a bad tenant, you can get them out. It's not a big, long, drawn-out process. So Cape Coral and Fort Myers, the job diversity is growing tremendously. In the last 3 years, we've seen a huge increase around the airport with commercial development. Commercial land is extremely cheap down here comparatively to other areas and markets. So you've got a lot of commercial people, commercial developers coming down and just scooping up the land now. So aviation, medical research, manufacturing are huge companies, and they're looking to add personnel consistently. Job fairs are consistently being advertised on local TVs for people moving to the area to get a job. Information technology, IT companies, we have a big one. Gartner has been in the area for the past 10 years now, and they're consistently increasing square footage. They just built a new building by the airport. And then obviously we have residential, commercial construction, and tourism is always been a constant down here. Tourism is always a constant. Cape Coral and the Fort Myers area, we usually have about 4 million visitors a year that come right through our area and spend a buku amount of money on the local market and vendors. So Florida ranks among the top 10 best states for starting a business. The Chamber of Commerce had stated that. We have a governor that is very pro-business, so the businesses are moving down here. I can give you an example. Hertz moved their company down here about 6 or 7 years ago, and the Florida state government said you basically don't have to pay any corporate income tax for 10 years. So that's why they moved down here to South Florida, and we have a lot of other big companies moving down here to take advantage of those tax credits. And what does that equate to? It's just jobs. There's literally so many jobs down here. If you fog a mirror, you can get a job. So the market is very strong, which in turn, people moving down to the area for jobs need rentals right away. And that's always great for the market. Just a few shots of the local beaches, why people move down to Florida. These are actual photos that I took. So the water is just beautiful. one on the right is Fort Myers Beach. We've got about probably 60 miles of white sandy beaches, which is very good for tourism, jobs, you name it. So Florida's job growth rate right now is approximately 2.8%, while the labor force is only growing by 1.6. So that means that there are more jobs than workers to fill them. The domestic product of Southwest Florida is nearly 50 billion and has grown by 35% over the last 10 years. That's a massive percentage of our GDP that's gone up. Cape Coral in Southwest Florida was recently ranked by Forbes as third best place for jobs in the U.S. So it's a very good place to move your family and basically land a job because of the lifestyle. And that's what big corporations want. They want to be able to attract quality people. So hey, let's move to a neighborhood that's really conducive to just a beautiful lifestyle. And that's really what South Florida offers. It's a great place to raise a family down here. So the economy and housing market in Southwest Florida is witnessing the same robust activity that's engulfing the entire state. Population and jobs are growing. Lee County is a very business-friendly location, and there's more demand than supply in the real estate market. That's exactly the things that rental property investors love to see. And that's on the commercial side and the residential side. I can't tell you how many apartment complexes are being built around here. There's probably 5 that I know now are under construction that are right off the interstate. So once those units are fully rented out, then they usually sell them off to an industrial investor, side. But they are filling up faster than these developers had thought. Typical housing complex went up not too far from where we live. It was over 350 units. Well, it went 80% full in the first 6 months. So the developers down here are looking for more land, and they're constantly building apartment complexes. So it's actually working out very well and driving jobs, and just it has a synergistic effect on everything in this economy down here. So just to give you guys a look at what a typical Cape Coral new construction duplex looks like, they are basically being built all over Cape Coral. Terry can get more into it about city utilities. But typically what these really perform well is they've got builder's warranty. They're very low maintenance costs. So if you buy one of these and you put some tenants in them, they're yielding about $13.95 per side and about $2,700 per month. So that works out with the numbers depending on your financing. So Terry can touch base on that. But I just wanted to give you guys out there in the webinar field a look at what they kind of look like. And they vary in different styles. Some have 2-car garages, some have singles. But this is a typical one that sells for about $365. Lee County home value. So this is some stuff I pulled off of Zillow about a week ago. So the home value index right now is the average property value or sale property is 253,677, and it's a 5.91% year change. Zillow is forecasting in our area 10% in a 1-year forecast for 2021. We've seen typically over the last 5 years anywhere between 5. I haven't seen it go lower than 5. And usually it's right around 7 to 8% your property will appreciate. I'm real curious to see in 2021, based on demand in our area, if we'll hit that 10% mark. I think we will right now on our matrix, which is our real estate web, where we go and look for properties and find stuff that's on the MLS down here. We're at a 2.1% inventory. So if sales continue as they go right now, we only have about 2 months worth of inventory on houses on the market.
The prices of duplexes in Cape Coral, the new builds, literally just over the past 3 months have went up $20,000.
Yeah. So you got to figure if you got something under contract a couple of months ago, bang, you just got some equity without having to do anything. And that's so golden, because that's what it's all about, is getting a good property and just having it appreciate. And then, obviously that'll make up for some of the offsets, and ups and downs that comes with investment. So obviously the Lee County home values are up 5.9%. So that's pretty much redundant on that slide. Attractive renters market, Lee County Cape Coral market. The median rent, and this is stuff I pulled off of Zillow, is $16.47 per month. So that's the median rent across the county, Lee County. So that's Lehigh Acres, that's Fort Myers, that's Bonita Springs, Estero, all that stuff. So annual rent increase that we've seen is 3.1%, which is good. It's kind of mimicking what the wages have gone up. So if wages go up, it means people can afford more rent, which is good. So the average renting households across Lee County is 42%. That number was nowhere near that 2 years ago. That just tells me that a lot of people are pushing into this area for whatever reason they're moving down here. If it's COVID, if it's jobs, if it's sick and tired of the winter, that's huge. That's why there are so many duplexes that are going off the market real quick. And that's really what caused the duplex market to jump by 20% or 20,000 in 1 year. Of course, there's a lot of other things that are moving parts within that. Cost of material has gone up and stuff like that. But for the most part, that's a really good percentage jump for the area. And it really shows how strong we are in the current market. So another one of the big companies that just moved their headquarters down here, Neogenomics. We went out to California. I used to see a couple buildings out there in SoCal and then the Huntington Beach area. I know that they're out there, but they're just building their brand new global headquarters right off I-75. A lot of the massive commercial building that's going on is right around the airport. So it's great for the area. We love to see these companies come in. They're due to open at the end of 2021, like around October of 2021, and they're going to be adding anywhere from 400 to 600 jobs just for this one locale. Probably going to be moving a lot of people from out of state in here to take these positions. So we have a very, very robust economy on college campus down here. We have two of the major ones in Southwest Florida, the Southwestern Florida, and then Gulf Coast University. Gulf Coast University has got a very, very big nursing program. This college years ago had, it's probably about an 8 to 9,000 population, and now they're literally well over 15,000. So the student population is growing. That's why these apartment houses are going up, and everything's growing really well down here in South Florida with regards to colleges. So this is what I told you about Amazon. They opened up a second distribution facility in Naples. This one here just opened up in Fort Myers about a year ago, 60,000 square feet. They're in the process of finishing a $220,000 square feet distribution facility in Naples. So it's working to our favor, and a lot of jobs. A lot of college kids are getting jobs here. They pay pretty good money with Amazon. So the college kids are getting some part-time work delivering, driving their trucks around. So JetBlue Ballpark, we have a huge spring training presence down here. Every single year, spring training comes down. We've got the Red Sox, the Minnesota Twins, and a couple other minor B teams. So this is a huge draw when spring training hits. Tons and tons of money gets poured into the area, local economy. This chunk of commercial area where they built this 5 years ago, they are in the process now of just popping up hotels, probably 4 or 5 hotels. And this is out there in the land right near Lehigh Acres. So we're seeing that whole corridor explode. And this literally is just north of the airport. And it's been developed for about 5 or 6 years now, but we're seeing a lot of spin-off. Publix just opened up a food store. So a lot of good things happen on this corridor. This facility is open year-round too. They do a lot of RV shows, they do boat shows, they do all kinds of stuff. Batting camps, training camps, all kinds of stuff. So the area is consistently used. That's a shot of the new control tower that's in the process of being done. 10 million annual passengers are coming through our airports. 1.2 million monthly passengers. So the area is growing. Once the control tower is done, they'll put the second runway in, and then we're really going to start seeing a lot more commercial flights and shipping and everything that supports the airport and other commercial business around the area. Arthrex, they just got done. They moved into a new administration building. It's a 300,000 square foot, $100 million facility. This is where I worked down in Naples as a fireman. And I can tell you this company, they do over billions, $3 to $4 billion a year. They basically manufacture arthritic or orthopedic knees, ankles, shoulders, hip joints. So they are a huge presence down here in the medical field. And the spin-off just from this big company that's down here is amazing. So they're constantly hiring high-paid jobs for this facility, and then they're in the process of building another facility out east of Naples for a sterilization plant for all their medical equipment. Downtown Fort Myers is exploding now. We're seeing 2 towers coming out of the ground, which is Allure, the center picture, the Luminary Hotel. That's a picture way back when, Kristen, when it was being developed. We had cocktails on the roof up there the other night with Kristen and Jason when they came in town. That area, they just went through and they're redoing the entire Harborside Convention Center. They just tied on to the Luminary Hotel. Downtown Fort Myers is going to see some massive explosion in high-end condominiums. When the market crashed back in 2006, 7, 8, a massive developer came over with big pockets from Miami called Jax Development, JAX, and he bought up basically all of these condos, the land that was these condos were going to go up on, and now he's redeveloping them with his own style of condos. So Allure is coming out of the ground, City Walk is coming out of the ground. That's actually being topped off right now. And then a couple other buildings will be coming up in the future. The Prima Luce, that one there is actually, I think they're doing pilings down on the river, so a lot of construction. Just in Fort Myers alone, there's over 500 million projects, $500 million in projects totaling on the books, and two of them have broken ground, and the hotel is off the ground. So a lot of good stuff happening along the river. All these big projects are along the water because water sells, water sells. This is Gartner. They employ about 1,200 people. Like I said, they just opened up a new facility. They're going to consistently add people all the way through 2022. The new campus, that's a picture of it that just opened up near the airport. Skyflex. So when they built the Southwest Florida airport back in 2005, they literally built a brand new airport south of the old airport. And then when the new airport was complete and done, they shut down the old one and they rolled everything across the runways and they opened up a new one. So developers have come into the area. They bought the old airport campus. In this picture, you can see at the top is the airport. That's the new airport. Then below it, where this new commercial building center is up, is the area that's under construction right now. It's called Skyplex, and it's basically commercial, residential. It's a mix of everything located. Light industrial manufacturing. They've got housing, housing units going up in there too. So if you go on YouTube, just put in Skyplex, Fort Myers, Florida, and there's a really great YouTube video that shows you what's going on in the area. And this is explosive. There's also a massive maintenance hangar facility being built on the airport grounds right now. And it's word has it is that it's from a developer out of Chicago who has big ties to United Van Lines. So we're thinking that maybe the airlines United is going to basically try to hub out of South Florida on the West Coast, because we've got so many gates that are going to be developed for the new airport. So it's going to be good for the local economy with a growing airport. So it's always real good. So let's talk a little bit about Cape Coral. If you guys are looking to invest in Cape Coral, we've got plenty of information for you guys. Go to capecoral.net at the top. www.net, City Furniture, is a good website to go to. So Cape Coral is nicknamed the waterfront wonderland, a boater's paradise. Cape Coral is a unique peninsula. It's over 115 square miles with over 400 miles of boating canals. Cape Coral Real Estate provides access to the Gulf of Mexico. So you have basically throughout the entire Cape, you've got these canals, as you can see in this picture. So you can basically have your boat in your backyard, and then to the right there, that's the Caloosahatchee River, and like within 30 minutes, you can be in the Gulf of Mexico and heading down to the beaches. So it's a big draw for South Florida if they come to Cape Coral. That's what makes it unique. I think it's the third largest city in the state of Florida. And in that city, it has over 400 miles of navigatable canals. And now the Cape Coral is going through, and they're doing some massive projects where they're putting a lot of restaurants and shopping on these canals so that you can drive your boat right to the restaurants. So it's a really unique, it's kind of like Italy. It's pretty intense on how much shopping and just, it's just a great boater's paradise. So it ranks 9 and Forbes in 2018 in the fastest growing cities. Read through some of the stuff. Population growth continues at a steady pace. Right now, this number actually needs to be changed. It's 189,000. They're over 200,000 right now. And the build out for Cape Coral is not expected to hit till 2050. So tons of land available, and they just can't build stuff fast enough for the Cape because it's such a great area. So metropolitan statistical area is one of the nation's job growth leaders. Lee County has a population, or actually Fort Myers and the Lee County area has a population of about 750,000 with more than 1.3 million annual visitors who spend a ton of money down here. So the local year-round population spikes more than 14%. So we've got a big thing down here that is, you know, the snowbirds, when they come down, our population pretty much doubles. So that population of 750,000 usually jumps to about 1.4 million. Our roads just get tremendously packed. You know, restaurants get packed. We really haven't seen a slowdown, you know, with COVID. Everything's just kind of rocking and rolling. So it's doing well. These are just some photos of Cape Coral for you guys to look at. We've got 2 bridges. The upper right-hand corner and the lower left-hand corner are the bridges that lead from Fort Myers over to Cape Coral. And then you've got a typical photo on the right-hand side there of what a canal looks like, you know, in a backyard with a boat. You could put some really decent sizable boats in these backyards. You could put sailboats. So upper left-hand shot is a lot of the hotels and condominiums, high-rise condominiums with marinas on them and stuff. A lot of stuff like you guys have in California and other areas that are built around the water. So Cape Coral's commercial corridor, retailers and restaurants along the Pine Island corridor. The area that you see shaded in purple is basically where all the commercial real estate is being built in Cape Coral. So Pine Island Road is a major corridor that runs from the west side of Cape Coral all the way to I-75 over North Fort Myers. And there's just a massive amount of commercial real estate being built there. You can see some of the businesses, Office Max, Outback Steakhouse, just a lot of stuff, car dealerships. They built a big VA center probably about 5 or 6 years ago to help service a lot of the veterans in Cape Coral in Southwest Florida. So a lot of big commercial stuff going on in Cape Coral, which is good. So the South Cape is the heart of Cape Coral, which is the southern part of the Cape. So some of the developments going on, you got single family, mixed use, commercial, professional, recreation facilities. These are some shaded areas that are going through a lot of redevelopment. And so the Cape's economy is really strong. Cape Coral also has, these are construction projects that are up and coming. Downtown Village Square, $28 million in development. Mixed use consisting of 152 residents. Down in South Florida, when people retire down here, they like to live up above the shops and restaurants so that basically they have everything at their fingertips. They can basically go downstairs, they can go shopping, they can eat, they can go back up to their condos. So everything's doing really well in the Cape. A lot of these projects are coming out of the ground, and they will continue to come out of the ground too. Like I said, if you go to that www.capecoral.net, you can look up other projects like Bimini Basin, the Seven Islands project, a lot of mixed-use commercial, residential. The Seven Islands project is 7 separate islands up in the west part of the Cape. That is, they're going to be doing a lot of work on residential high-rises with marinas out there, so you can have big boats and live in your condo. So Bimini Basin West, this is a big project that's going on. I can talk probably about 5 minutes about this, but the best thing that I can tell you to do, it's a massive commercial project that is coming out of the books. So things are moving forward with this massive commercial project. just go to YouTube and put in Cape Coral Bimini Basin, and it'll show you what the city's plans are for the future. Future development, commercial, residential, restaurants, and you name it on this basin. Obviously, in the center of this slide, you can see the basin where a bunch of sailboats are moored and stuff like that. So just another big venue for people to live and have this great lifestyle. Lehigh Acres just opened up a new medical center a couple of years ago. So Lehigh Acres is west. It's about probably 40 minutes from Cape Coral, about 35 minutes from downtown Fort Myers. It's a bedroom community. Prices are a little bit lower there. So it consists of about 96 square miles. When you look at it in the upper right-hand corner, you're going to see a lot of land available out there. All the lots in Lehigh Acres are typically quarter-acre lots, which are 80 by 120 deep. So you get a nice piece of property with a single family or a duplex. So the population in Lehigh is growing to about 119,000 as of 2020. And the cost of land is cheaper. That's why it's a lot cheaper to build and buy in Lehigh Acres as it is to Cape Coral. So it is east of Cape Coral and Fort Myers. It is the highest elevation in Lee County, so there's no flood insurance if you decide to build or buy on Lehigh. So that's some good information. However, majority of the stuff is being done in Cape Coral because that's where the infrastructure is really built up with commercial to support all the residential units. So we have a detailed market data packet. If you haven't been on Marshall Reddick's website, you can go on there, marshallreddick.com. For you first-time people, you can go on there, you can set up your own account, you can jump on there, it'll allow you to search the markets. You can look at the Cape Coral market, the Fort Myers Lehigh MSA. You can individually click on some of the properties that Terry's going to go over. It's an actual interactive website. So if you see a property that you like, there's a lot of information that you can fluctuate with. Like, for example, your down payment. You can change a lot of percentages. So you can really dial in how that property will perform with a specific type of investment. We obviously, we have lending available. We have direct lending available. Terry or Kristen can talk to you guys about that. But it is definitely a lot of information on the website, and it's very useful, and it can absolutely help you guys attain and try to find properties that you need. However, if you guys have any direct questions, feel free to call Terry, and she's going to go over some of the properties now that we are currently showcasing on the webinar. And I will turn it over to Terry, and she's going to go through these properties with you guys. So thanks for your time. And like I said, if you guys have any other questions, you can reach out to Terry or myself, and I'll let Terry take it away.
All right. This one here, this is our basic new build duplex in Cape Coral. The new builds are doing the best as far as cash flow because they have low maintenance, low insurance, and obviously they get a higher rent. And I think the rent we have on these, they've been getting $13.95. I actually expect that to go up next year to possibly $14.50. We've had a steady increase of rents, just keeping up with the demand. And like Ken said, there's not that many that are available. When you go through these, if you look at all the stuff, this here is the initial repair cost is just a number that I guesstimate on every property, because I don't think we've ever had anybody move in or have a property purchase without having to put something into it. For a new build, it could be blinds. These actually come with blinds, but it could be towel racks or something like that that the builders don't always include. And then if you go down the rents, I get the rents from the property management, so those are normally pretty accurate. The taxes I get estimated either off of the there's a website just for county taxes on the it's called LIPA.org, which was the county website you can go to get a lot of information on properties. But I calculate that. The insurance I get from our insurance guy. The one thing I try to do, since we're boots on the grounds here and we've been doing this for so long, we have a really good team lined up from, it goes, from Kristen down to me to our preferred lender. I have an insurance person that I've worked with for several years just because he always gives me the best rates. You don't have to use our people, but I do hand them out to you, and you can contact with them as a comparison if you want to use somebody else that you know. But I definitely, these do come from. Our management for the Marshall Reddick is 8% for the management fee. It's normally around 13% here, depending on who you go with. I try to stay away from properties that have HOA fees just because they take away your profits. There are some single family homes here in a gated community. We just did a couple with 2 other investors that have a very low HOA fee and they still cash flow. And it was what these particular investors wanted. So you'll see a couple of those coming up here. The utilities, this property is on city utilities. Some properties are on all city utilities, water and sewer, and some are on well and septic. 90% of the properties in Lehigh Acres are on well and septic. And in Cape Coral used to be all well and septic, but they started probably about 10 years ago because of the growth. The city came in and they started in the south. The south is the most built up area in Cape Coral. It's also the closest to the bridges going into the Fort Myers area. So it is always the most desirable. You'll see the prices are a little bit higher in the south also due to that. When the city just they started one place and they're just moving through. Now they're actually started into the north quadrants. When they get to your property, they basically knock on your door and say, Mr. Smith, it's time to put your city utilities in. As a homeowner, you do not have a choice. The city puts them in, and they replace, the well and the water system, and then you get assessed with a utility expansion assessment, which is normally around $25,000. They do let you divide that up into your taxes over 20 years, so it just becomes part of your property taxes, unless you just choose to pay it up front at closing. And it could be a little less depending on, because as the builder is building, he's paying part of those. Normally, by the time a new build closes, it's down to about $13,000 to $15,000 of assessments left that will go into your taxes. And I just have to get with the county and look those up to see exactly what they are per property. This when I made the comment that the new builds just jumped up 20,000, we've only got 2 left on the Marshall Reddick website. This one, and there's one on Nelson. Nelson is city water, I believe, with a septic for the sewer, and they are the last ones that we have at the $365 price, plus whatever the assessments would be. Like this one here, this assessment down here is $78.50 that would go into your taxes. But he literally, like 10 minutes before we started this webinar, he sent me a list of new ones coming up available, and all of them are at $385. So, real important. Anyways, if you keep on going down here, utilities for, obviously there is no utilities for things that are on city because the tenants pay all the utilities as renters. Landscaping can be, between $60 to $70 a month. The property management can set that up for you. So this kind of gives you fixed expenses, and this would be the monthly check that you would receive. These down here, these are other expenses you will have, but they don't come out of your check initially. And this is just what Marshall Reddick estimates them over a 15-year period. So 5% for a new build, estimate vacancy rate 8%. Our vacancy rate has been under 4% for the last 6 years in our area. But like I said, I think they go on a more of a nationwide scale over a 15-year period. And then, of course, the leasing fee. For them to place a tenant, they charge 50% of the first month's rent for the Marshall Reddick group. Most companies charge the first month's rent for that. And then you look down and they calculate what the ROI is. So, 18.5% ROI, very well. When you read through these, always go down to the bottom, because this is where I put just kind of the description, the explanation of what the property is, if it's on city utilities or not, if it's on well and septic, it'll say well and septic. I try to keep everything out of the flood zone. This is a big question people ask. Flood zones are determined by the county, and it literally goes per property, whatever the elevation is. You can have 2 properties literally side by side. One can be in a flood zone and one can be not in a flood zone, depending on how high the builder built it up. This particular duplex has a double-sized driveway. There's an entrance over here off of this side road, and then there's an entrance over here off of the main road, Andalusia. So this is pretty cool. This is completed, and this one's ready to go. Okay, so I think I got it down. This is one of the new builds we're doing. These are Christopher Allen homes, and it's a new builder that I just started working with. And they build a gorgeous home. They do have about an 8-month build time. So I always look at that, you're going to have a lot of equity in the house by the time it's built. But these addresses can change. They send me a list of addresses. I just put a couple on the Marshall Reddick website of different styles. They don't contract until you actually pick an address and put a deposit down. Once they receive your pre-approval letter from your lender, then they will secure the address that you want. So like this one here, this could have went under contract 2 hours ago. I don't know that until, you would call me and say, hey, this is the model I want to build. What addresses are available now? But this is a 4.2, really nice, over 1,800 square feet. It's called the Augustine plan. And with the new build, obviously, you get the builder's warranty. But I put as much as I can fit. Sometimes I run out of room down here. So you can't really put everything in there, but these have a very high ROI. Like I said, they'll be very low insurance. So these are all gonna be about the same on all of them. Just go through and read and see what you like and you pick out. And there's a lot more photos when you go on the Marshall Reddick side. I put as many photos as I can get my hands on. We just contracted a couple of these 2 weeks ago to an investor. This is another model. This is a DR Horton model. This is the one that's in a gated community. So it's called the Strata, and it's got HOA fees, but they're very low. So $775, it's a very low HOA fee, so it's still cash flows. You see the ROI is still almost 19% on these. And the people who actually contracted this, she came to town, and I had her set up to go see like 3 different builders and properties and up, and she went into DR Horton, walked right in, looked at this and said, I'm done, this is the place I want. She is a long-time investor with Marshall Reddick. She always, buys new builds. She wanted the gated community because it's got the pool, it's got the gym, it's, all the clubhouse and everything like that to go along with it. So it's a property that, you would probably live in yourself. So these are very nice. And once again, it just depends on, and this one was some are completed, some are not completed. I think hers is going to be done April. This is a resale in Cape Coral. So the resale, this is a 1986. It's got a fenced-in yard, which is always nice for people that have pets. It does not cash flow quite as well, but it'll probably get some, and these prices here, these are the asking prices that they have on the MLS. So these are, we can go back in and we could offer, $215 or something like that. We do find around here that if you do a lowball offer, most of the time they won't even respond to my emails or phone calls or texts because they get touchy or they get insulted. It's just that our market is so hot and the inventory is so low that when something good comes along, it doesn't last very long. So no flood, but this one has a brand new roof, which is huge because since it's older, the insurance tends to jump up on anything that's older than a 2004 build. So if you have a new roof on it, that's huge and makes insurance about $500 to $600 less than it normally would be. So once again, same thing. I just guesstimate on the repairs, especially resale. It's, if somebody's got to move out, I don't remember if this one's vacant or not yet, but it's always got to be repainted on the inside. This is another one of the new builds. Same builder as the one second to last on the other one is Christopher Allen Homes. And we contracted one of these to a new investor 2 weeks ago also. A little bit smaller. It is 4-bedroom, 2-bath, just a little bit smaller in square footage, not a whole lot. And I think that this one's on well and septic though, so you'll see the difference in price because it's on well and septic. Those of you who are not familiar with septic systems, you can just Google septic systems, and they're not bad. It's just if you don't know about them, people don't really understand them. My parents and Kenny's parents have always been on septic systems. His parents live in Long Island, New York, and the whole island is on septic. My folks have always lived out in the country, so they've always been on septic systems. When you have a septic system, it's just a system that's buried in the ground that the water comes up through. You also have a water system on the side of your house that the water, gets filtered through. Then it's like bottled water by the time it comes into your house. Tenants love it because if you're on a septic system, you don't have a water bill. It does have a little bit of maintenance that you would have because it's about $55 a month for the salt system because you have to keep salt into the system, which, has to do with keeping the water clean. And the property management company would set you up on that also. But the biggest thing is the difference in price on those. And you have to have the septic system, it's called pumped out, usually about once a year, depending on how many occupants are in the house. If you got just 2 people living there, you could probably do it once every 2 years. If you've got a family of 4 or more, you're gonna wanna have it pumped out yearly. But like I said, you can go on it and see all the more photos of the houses. This guy built a really nice home. If you got time to wait. Lehigh Acres, we don't have any brand new builds available right now, but we do have some coming up. We have a builder building out there, and he's giving them to us for about $25,000 less than his company is selling them on the MLS. So we do have 6 under contract, and I'm waiting for new addresses from him. I talked to him last week, and he said we should have them in about 2 weeks, and then you'll see those pop up on the website. But this is your basic older duplex, and Our Boulevard is a really nice area. We got several in that area right now on that street. But this is an average price. The resales in Lehigh are anywhere from $248 all the way up to $275, $280. The one thing that you will find, because this is a 2006, keep in mind with the roofs, you probably got another 5 years left on the roof, and the roof will have to be replaced. This one looked like it had a little patching done, but when I talked to her, she said they've never had any issues with it except for that. This is on an oversized lot. The rents are a little bit below market, which is very common when you do a resale because they could be on like last year's rate, or it could have a long-term tenant that's been in there. And a lot of times the long-term tenants, the landlords tend to give them a little break just because they're good tenants, they take care of the place, and they don't raise them all the way up, to market value. The standard 3-bedroom, 2-bath for each unit in Lehigh gets $1,100. The one of them is actually paying $1,149 for this one, so that's a little bit over. But like I said, our rents continue to go up, which is great. And then I try to give as much information so you can know when the leases end, and so how much you have. This one will stay at $1,000 through January 21. So obviously it's getting ready to either they'll just write a new lease, or they may raise the rents a little bit. And then you got the ROIs here. Once again, duplexes, they're the hottest commodity right now. You will always have the utilities in Lehigh because the 55, that's what covers the salt system for the septic on those. All right, so that is all on the properties. The one thing I want to let you guys know, on our properties, check the website because they change constantly. I've got to go on because I did have a large multi-unit on here. It was an 8-unit, and the same builder that's doing the new build duplexes called me and they said, hey, it just went under contract, so I have to go on and remove that from the website. But the properties rotate as they sell, so there's always new stuff coming up. And if there's not something on there that fits your fancy and you find something, send it to me. I will vet the property for you and let you know the pros and cons on it, or send me a thing and I can search for exactly what you want. We ran out. I only put so many properties on the webinar, so because there are single family homes in Lehigh Acres also. But we try to do as much as we can, like I said, for you guys down here, as far as having all of our ducks in the row. We've been in Hartford for so long. We've got a great, very efficient team down here. And so the only thing I want you to have to worry about is just getting your loan done, and then I will do everything else that I can possibly do on my end for you. So on that note, I think we go back to Kristen.
Thank you so much, Terry. And I just want to comment on something that Terry just said. She said she will do everything for you. She is not lying. She does everything. And, like I joked about earlier, coming to you, Californians from the future, I will text or call or email Terry at who even knows what time it is in Florida when I'm in California? And she always responds. There has never been a time where I've needed to get a hold of her or when a client has needed her where she hasn't responded. Um, a handful of clients have questions after closing. Something comes up either with a bill or a maintenance item or something like that, and Terry's right there in our corner, contacting the builder, contacting title, doing everything she can to make sure that everything gets taken care of. So when she says she will do everything for you, that is the truth. So what we do is we look at properties. My clients and I will come to Terry and say, we'd like to move forward on this one. As soon as that offer is signed, she's pushing for us to get it accepted. She's doing the inspections. She's making sure she's there, and just really ensuring that the process goes smoothly. So that's what you can count on from Terry. And really, like she said, we've got a really strong team down there. You can count on that from the entire team. So that's definitely, part of Marshall Reddick's allure, if you will, to our clients, is that we really are a one-stop shop, and we give our clients every opportunity to, find exactly what you're looking for with a great team that will take care of you and ensure that everything gets done. I wanted to touch on this maintenance and vacancy really quickly. Each property that you just saw that Terry presented will be rated with a property class, and the maintenance and vacancy percentage is based on that property class. As Terry mentioned, our vacancy percentages do tend to err on the side of being very conservative. So do the maintenance, because we want to try to give our clients conservative numbers and under promise and overperform rather than do the opposite of that. So this is what that breaks down to in a 1 to 4 unit property, which is going to be where the majority of our clients are purchasing, I'm sure including some of you that are present with us today. For more information on how we arrive at those class ratings, the Reddick Property Rating ebook is a free download for all of you folks here today. I highly encourage that you read that. That way it gives you an understanding of how we arrived at those ratings, what classifies an A, B, or a C class property, and then in turn how that shows up on the financial calculator. So maybe you're thinking to yourself, I'm good with the C class property. That sounds good enough to me. After reading the Reddick Property Rating ebook, maybe you change your mind. Maybe you want to, keep it in a B class. Maybe you'd like to stick with the A class. Each investor, as I mentioned early on, has their own criteria and their own set of things that are important to them. And some people never waver. My husband and I, A and B class only. We've never wavered from that. And that's worked out well for us. Other people, the C class works best for them. So that's why it's important to talk with somebody who you can bounce ideas around with, and talk about what you're looking for, what you'd like to accomplish, and we can help determine what type of property is best for you for both your short and long-term goals. So definitely check out that ebook. Educate yourself on our rating system. It'll really, really help as you browse our website. Definitely connect on us. We're on all the social medias. You can find me personally. You can find me on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on Instagram. I won't give that out publicly here, but feel free to find me. If I know you, I'll say yes, you can be my friend. Anyways, definitely look us up on Yelp, look us up on Zillow. Terry has a lot of great reviews. I personally have a lot of great reviews as well. I think it's important to know who you're working with. So I highly recommend you check those out. Take advantage of the tools and resources that are on our website as well. You can find us on YouTube also. A lot of these webinars are on YouTube. You can stream those there, or you can find them directly on the website as well. I'll leave you with a few photos from my first trip to Cape Coral back in April of 2018. First time I had the pleasure of touring the area, and as you can see, we enjoyed it, so we're back. That's my contact information down at the bottom. If you have questions or would like more information on any of the properties, if you'd like to connect with myself or Terry directly, my information's here. You can always reach out to me and I can do a connection with Terry so that you can get any questions answered on any properties that you saw today. any questions you have about the market, please don't hesitate. That's my cell. You can call or text that number. And of course, email is always a great way to reach us also. I know some of you may have had some questions. I want to let you know that we will definitely get to all of these. I look forward to being able to connect with everybody and answer those questions. Sometimes we're able to get to them during the broadcast. Sometimes that's a little bit more difficult depending on how many attendees we have. But want to, again, thank everybody for being on with us. We're at just over an hour, so with respect for everybody's time, we want to go ahead and hop off here, but please do reach out if you have questions or want more information. Terry and Ken, it's always a pleasure to present with you guys. As I mentioned early on, this is one of my favorite topics. And nice to be in the same time zone too.
Yeah, right? Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great day, and we'll be in touch very soon.